I stared at the custom-made "Welcome Baby" banner, wondering if the rose gold lettering was a mistake. June had always preferred simple designs, but Mother insisted on elevating everything these days. The party planner's invoice in my hand reminded me why I should have said no to organizing this baby shower in the first place. I'm Cora, and I've spent the last 15 years trying to prove that career success and family devotion aren't mutually exclusive. Spoiler alert, my mother still doesn't buy it. The caterer called, Kaya said, appearing beside me with her clipboard. They're running 20 minutes late. Of course they are. I checked my watch. Another work email needed attention, but it could wait. Did you confirm the flower arrangements? All set, but your mom called again. She wants to know if we can rearrange the seating chart to put June's college friends closer to the front. I closed my eyes, counting to 10. The chart we finalized 3 days ago. The one she approved? The very same. Kaya squeezed my shoulder. Want me to tell her no? I'll handle it. I pulled out my phone, dialing Mother's number. 1 ring, 2 rings. Cora, darling. Mother's voice dripped honey, never a good sign. I was just thinking about the seating. Mother, we can't change it now. The place cards are printed and the tables are set. But June specifically requested. June approved the arrangement last week. I watched the venue staff arrange crystal centerpieces that cost more than my first car. Remember, during the family dinner. Oh, you mean the dinner you left early for that conference call? There it was. The signature Aurora Norris guilt trip, right on schedule. That call secured the Thompson account, I said, keeping my voice level. It's helping pay for this shower you're trying to micromanage. Always about work with you, isn't it? She sighed dramatically. Your sister is having a baby, Cora, a baby. Would it kill you to focus on family for once? The venue manager waved frantically from across the room. Another fire to extinguish. Mother, I need to go. The seating stays as is. I hung up before she could protest. Problems? Kaya asked, already knowing the answer. Just the usual, Mother being Mother. I straightened my blazer. What's wrong now? The dessert table's lighting isn't ethereal enough, apparently. Kaya rolled her eyes. The manager's having a meltdown. As we walked over, my phone buzzed. June's text lit up the screen. Mom says you're being difficult about the seating. Why can't you just help make my day perfect? Perfect, like the straight A's that were never good enough. Like the promotion that meant nothing because I missed Sunday dinner. Like this $40,000 baby shower that still somehow fell short. The lights are fine, I told the manager firmly. If anything, we'll adjust the camera settings for photos. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Herbert, the family lawyer. Cora, your mother's on my other line about the venue contract. Something about last-minute changes. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Tell her any changes now will incur extra charges. Significant ones. She says money isn't an issue. Of course not. It's not her money. I watched another delivery arrive. Hand-painted party favors from June's favorite artist. Just hold her off, please. We're hours away from the event. Will do. And Cora. Herbert paused. You're doing a wonderful job. Don't let anyone tell you differently. I ended the call, feeling a familiar ache in my chest. The same ache I felt at 12, when Mother praised June's mediocre piano recital, but missed my debate championship. The same twist when she gushed about June's art major while dismissing my business degree as cold and calculating. Hey, Kaya's voice pulled me back. You okay? Fine. I straightened the nearest place card. Just wondering why I keep trying to prove myself to people who've already made up their minds about me. Because you're Cora, she said simply. You never give up, even when you should. The caterers finally arrived, creating a welcome distraction. As I directed them to the kitchen, my phone buzzed one last time. A message from Aunt Maeve. Your mother's on the warpath. Brace yourself, dear. And remember, you're worth more than their approval. I looked around the perfectly decorated venue, at the 1,000 little details I'd orchestrated while juggling client meetings and project deadlines. In 4 hours, this room would fill with guests, and my sister would have her perfect baby shower, and I would smile and nod and pretend their words didn't cut like always, because that's what good daughters do, right? The baby shower was in full swing when my phone vibrated for the 10th time. A client crisis needed immediate attention. I slipped behind a decorative screen, trying to keep my voice down. "Yes, I understand the urgency," I whispered. "I can review the contract in 20 minutes. "Cora," Mother's voice cut through the party chatter. "What are you doing back there?" I ended the call quickly. "Just checking on the gift arrangements, Mother." Always with that phone. She grabbed my arm, steering me toward the crowd. "Your sister is about to open presents. Surely your precious work can wait." June sat in the ornate chair I'd specially ordered, surrounded by cooing guests. Her pregnancy glow was amplified by the professional lighting I'd arranged. Not that anyone would mention that detail. "There you are." June's smile didn't reach her eyes. "I was starting to think you'd disappeared." Just managing some details. I took my designated seat beside her, noting how Mother hovered nearby like a watchful hawk. Details, details. Mother sighed loudly enough for nearby guests to hear. That's all Cora thinks about these days. Numbers and contracts instead of family. A few guests shifted uncomfortably. I felt my cheeks burn, but maintained my smile. "Let's focus on the presents, shall we?" June opened gift after gift. Each one met with appropriate oohs and ahs. I checked my phone discreetly. 3 missed calls from the client. "Oh, this one's from Cora," June announced, lifting an elegantly wrapped package. My stomach knotted. I'd spent weeks hunting down the vintage silver rattle, identical to the one in our grandmother's baby photos. June tore through the paper, revealing the velvet box. "Oh, it's nice. It's just like Grandma Margaret's," I explained quickly. "Remember how she always told us about—" "Speaking of remembering," Mother interrupted, "remember when Cora missed June's college graduation because of a crucial meeting?" The room went silent. June's husband Franklin shifted in his seat, looking anywhere but at me. "Mother, that was years ago," I said quietly, "and I flew in the next day. And now here we are," Mother continued, as if I hadn't spoken, "at June's baby shower, and she can't even put her phone down for an hour." "Aurora," Aunt Maeve warned from across the room. But Mother was on a roll. "Do you know who arranged this entire shower?" June joined in, her voice thick with hormonal tears. "Our mother did, while you were too busy with your important career to help." I stared at her, stunned. "June, I literally planned every—" "Oh sure," she sniffled. "You wrote some checks, threw money at it like you do with everything. But where were you for the actual planning? The late-night calls about color schemes? The menu tastings?" "I was on those calls." My voice rose despite my efforts. "I scheduled them around your timeline." "Ladies," Franklin tried to intervene, but Mother shot him a look that could freeze hell. "Your sister's having a baby," Mother announced to the room at large. "A miracle, a new life. But I suppose that's not as important as whatever's on that phone of yours." My phone buzzed again. The client was now threatening to pull their account. "I need to take this," I said, standing up. "It's important." "More important than family," June's voice cracked. "More important than me." The room was dead silent now, every guest witnessing my public execution. "You know what?" I grabbed my purse. "Yes, right now, this call is more important. Because unlike this shower, which I planned, paid for, and am apparently getting 0 credit for, this call actually matters to people who value my time and effort." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Mother's face turned purple. "How dare you?" she sputtered. "After everything we've done for you." "Everything you've done for me," I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. "Please, enlighten me. Was it the constant criticism, the comparison to June, the guilt trips?" "Cora," Kaya peered at my elbow. "Maybe we should step outside." "No need." I straightened my spine, channeling every ounce of boardroom confidence I possessed. "I'm leaving. Enjoy the shower, June. The venue's paid through 7." Try not to let mother convince you I ruined this too. I turned on my heel, walking steadily toward the exit, despite the trembling in my legs. Behind me, I heard mother's theatrical sobs and June's hiccuping tears. Just before the door closed, I heard Aunt Maeve's clear voice. Well, Aurora, I hope you're satisfied. You've finally done it. I made it to my car before the tears came. But as I sat there, watching the venue staff scurry around through the windows, a strange calm settled over me. My phone buzzed again, but this time, instead of anxiety, I felt something else stirring in my chest. Resolve. I sat in my car for exactly 3 minutes before making the call. My hands had stopped shaking, replaced by an eerie steadiness I usually reserved for hostile takeovers. Herbert, it's Cora. Remember that contingency plan we discussed? The one you said you'd never use? He sounded concerned. What happened in there? They finally pushed too far. I watched another delivery van arrive at the venue. I need you to execute Plan B, all of it. Cora. He hesitated. Are you sure? This will... They think I just write checks, Herbert. Let's show them exactly what that means. After hanging up, I called the venue manager. Sarah, yes, about those payment arrangements we discussed. Of course, Ms. Norris. Everything's set up as requested. Should I? Yes. Implement all changes effective immediately. My phone lit up with a text from Kaya. Holy shit, they're still going at it. June's crying about how you abandoned her special day. Your mom's holding court like a martyred queen. I smiled, typing back, give it 20 minutes. The next call was to the catering company, followed by the bartender, the photographer, and the entertainment service. Each conversation was brief, professional, and devastating in its simplicity. Everything's in place, Herbert texted. You're really doing this? They wanted to talk about money, I replied. So let's talk about money. I started my car, catching a glimpse of Aunt Maeve hurrying out of the venue. She spotted me and rushed over. I rolled down my window. Cora, whatever you're planning, she started. How bad is it in there? She leaned against my car, sighing. Your mother's turned it into a full Greek tragedy. June's convinced you've ruined her life. Franklin looks like he wants to disappear. Perfect. I checked my watch. In about 10 minutes, they'll have something real to cry about. What did you do? Nothing they haven't asked for. I showed her my phone, scrolling through the emails. See, Mother always said I was good with numbers. Time to prove her right. Aunt Maeve's eyes widened as she read. Oh my God, Cora, this is perfectly legal. Everything's in my name. All contracts, all arrangements. I started the engine. They wanted to talk about how I just throw money around. Well, now they can handle it themselves. Where are you going? The spa. I have a massage booked. I smiled. I did pay for it, after all. As I pulled away, I glimpsed the first signs of chaos through the venue's windows. Sarah would be making her announcements now. The open bar would suddenly require payment. The photographer would pack up. The caterers would stop service. And the bills, every single itemized bill, would be distributed to the guests who'd sat there smugly watching my humiliation. My phone exploded with notifications. I connected it to the car's Bluetooth, letting the messages play through the speakers. Cora, what's happening? June's voice trembled. The venue says we need to pay. Delete. This is your mother. How dare you? Delete. Hey, it's Franklin. Look, I know things got out of hand. Delete. A new text from Kaya. OMFG. Your mom just tried to put everything on her credit card. It was declined. June's friends are leaving. This is better than Netflix. I pulled into the spa parking lot, feeling lighter than I had in years. The receptionist greeted me with a warm smile. Welcome, Ms. Norris. Your private relaxation suite is ready. Thank you. I handed her my phone. Could you keep this for me? I'm expecting some calls I'd rather not take. Of course. Would you like to see our wine list? Please. As I followed her to the suite, another text came through from Herbert. Bills are all distributed. Your mother's trying to reach the venue owner. Should I run interference? No, I typed back. Let her try. Sometimes lessons need to be learned the hard way. I changed into the plush spa robe. listening to the distant sound of waterfalls. My phone buzzed one final time before I handed it over. A message from Aunt Maeve. Your mother's face when the bar tab arrived. Worth every penny. But darling, was it worth burning the bridge? I thought about years of criticism, of diminishment, of being treated like an ATM while being told I wasn't family-oriented enough. Some bridges, I replied, need to burn so you can finally see what's on the other side. Then I turned off my phone, ordered a glass of champagne, and prepared to enjoy every minute of my very expensive revenge. After all, I had written the check for it. The massage therapist's hands worked out 15 years of family-induced tension from my shoulders, while my phone collected angry messages in the locker room. 2 hours of blissful silence, interrupted only by the soft meditation music and occasional sound of my own satisfied sighs. More pressure, Maria, the therapist, asked. Perfect as is, I melted into the table, though I might need an extra hour. Bad day. Actually, it's turning out better than expected. When I finally emerged from the treatment room, the receptionist gave me a sympathetic look. Your phone's been active, 37 missed calls. I assume none of them were pleasant. The last one was quite loud. She handed me the phone. Something about financial terrorism? I scrolled through the messages, each one more desperate than the last. The final voicemail was from Mother, her voice shrill with panic. Cora Elizabeth Norris, you answer this phone right now. The venue is demanding payment for everything. Everything. June's friends had to pay for their own drinks. The photographer left with all the photos. The caterers packed up the food. What have you done? I deleted it with a smile and dialed Kaya. You absolute legend, she answered, laughing. I wish you could have seen it. Your mother tried to pull the "Do you know who I am?" card with the venue manager. Sarah just kept showing her the contracts with your signature. How's June? Crying, obviously. But get this, her college friends bailed when they got stuck with the bar tab. Real friendship test right there. I settled into the spa's relaxation lounge, accepting a glass of infused water. And Franklin, actually handling it better than expected. He's been making calls, trying to sort things out. I heard him tell June that maybe they'd been taking advantage of you. Interesting. I sipped my water. Any other casualties? Those designer cupcakes you ordered, the ones Mother bragged about arranging. They got packed up right as she was showing them off to her church friends. Beautiful timing. My phone buzzed with another incoming call. Herbert, hold on, Kaya. I need to take this. Cora, Herbert said without preamble. Your mother's threatening legal action. For what? I paid for everything. Exactly. You paid. And you had every right to withdraw services. She's grasping at straws. Let her grasp. I examined my freshly manicured nails. How much is the final damage? Well, between the remaining venue fees, the bar tabs, the photographer's cancellation fee, and the catering balance, roughly $28,000, which they'll have to cover themselves. Your mother's credit cards are all maxed out. He cleared his throat. June's too. Not my problem. Franklin's been reasonable. He's offered to work out a payment plan. Decline it. I stood up, gathering my things. They wanted to handle everything without my money-throwing interference. Let them. My phone buzzed again. Aunt Maeve. You've created quite the scandal, she said when I answered. Half the country club will be talking about this for months. Good, maybe they'll think twice before inviting Mother to plan their events. June's a mess, says you've ruined her baby shower memories forever. Better than letting her ruin the rest of my life. I signed my spa bill, adding a generous tip. How's Mother taking it? She's already calling everyone she knows for loans. No takers so far. Apparently, her credit history isn't as pristine as she pretends. I stepped out into the evening air, feeling refreshed and remarkably unburdened. Any regrets? Only that I didn't record it all. Aunt Maeve chuckled. Though I did get a lovely photo of your mother's face when the bar tab arrived. Worth framing, really. My phone lit up with a text from Franklin. Can we talk? Just us. I think some apologies are overdue. Interesting timing, I muttered. What will you do now? Aunt Maeve asked. I got into my car, adjusting the mirror. In it, I saw a woman who finally looked free. Now, I'm going home, ordering takeout, and enjoying the silence. They wanted to talk about money. Well, now they can talk about it amongst themselves. And tomorrow? Tomorrow I'll go back to being the successful career woman they love to criticize. Only this time, they'll know exactly what that means. As I drove home, my phone kept buzzing with messages and calls. Each one represented a person who'd watched me be humiliated, but was now desperate for my help. Each one would go unanswered, because sometimes the best revenge isn't just about getting even. It's about teaching people the value of what they took for granted, and judging by the mounting bills in their hands, that lesson was just beginning. Monday morning arrived with 53 unread messages and 12 voicemails. I deleted them all and walked into my office like any other day. My assistant Sandra met me with coffee and a knowing smile. Your mother called the office 6 times. Any other calls? The Thompson contract is signed. The merger meeting is at 2. And, she hesitated. Your sister's husband stopped by. Franklin was here. Said he wanted to talk business. Sandra handed me a folder. I told him you were in meetings all day. My office phone lit up. Your mother again, Sandra said. Let it ring. Kaya burst through the door, coffee in hand. Tell me everything. How was the spa? Did you sleep well? Have you checked social media? One question at a time. I logged into my computer. The spa was perfect. I slept like a baby. And no, I'm avoiding social media. Oh, you shouldn't. She pulled out her phone. Your mom's church friends are having a meltdown in the community Facebook group. Apparently, you've destroyed the sanctity of baby showers forever. Tragic. June's posted 3 crying selfies. The last one says, when your own sister betrays you on your special day. My phone buzzed. Aunt Maeve, your mother's holding an emergency family meeting tonight, she said, without greeting. She's trying to rally the troops against you. Good luck with that. I checked my calendar. Most of them owe me money too. Franklin's been asking questions about the business side of things. Has he? I pulled up my banking app. Interesting timing, considering June's credit card payment is due today. That's not all. Aunt Maeve lowered her voice. Your mother's been calling everyone about refinancing her house. Kaya, who'd been scrolling through social media, looked up sharply. Oh my God, you have to see this. June's college friends posted about the tacky cash bar, and your mom went nuclear in the comments. My office phone lit up again. Your sister this time. Sandra's voice came through the intercom. Still in meetings, Aunt Maeve sighed through the phone. Aurora's threatening to write a letter to your board of directors about your unethical business practices. The board that I'm on, I laughed. The one that values my ability to manage multi-million-dollar deals? She's desperate. Aunt Maeve paused. They all are. Good. I opened my email to find several messages from Franklin. Maybe now they'll understand what it feels like to be valued only for your financial contributions. Kaya perched on my desk. Franklin's been commenting on your professional achievements on LinkedIn. Every single post. Trying to butter me up? More like damage control. His law firm's partners follow you. My phone buzzed with a text from Herbert. June's trying to dispute the venue charges on her credit card. Not going well for her. Your mother's calling again, Sandra announced. I pressed the intercom. Sandra, hold all calls unless they're about the Thompson deal. And if Franklin comes by again, tell him my schedule's full through next month. What about the family meeting tonight? Aunt Maeve asked. I have a dinner with clients. I didn't, but they didn't need to know that. Besides, I think they need to figure this one out themselves. Aurora's saying you've turned your back on family. No, I corrected. I've turned my back on being their personal bank. There's a difference. Kaya showed me her phone again. June's posted another update. When money matters more than family bonds. It has 3 crying emojis. Interesting how family bonds only matter when they need something from me. Sandra buzzed again. Your mother's on all 3 lines now. Time to get some actual work done. I stood up, straightening my blazer. Sandra, I'm heading to the Thompson meeting early. Forward all family calls to voicemail. And the emergency meeting, Aunt Maeve pressed. Tell them I'm busy throwing money at my career. I grabbed my portfolio. That's what I'm good at, remember. As I walked to the conference room, my phone lit up with a text from Franklin. We need to talk about June's credit score. Delete. Another from Mother. This behavior is unacceptable. We raised you better. Delete. One from June. The bank called about the venue payment. Please, Cora, we need help. Delete. Kaya caught up with me at the elevator. You know they'll keep trying. Let them. I stepped inside, pressing the button for the executive floor. They wanted to talk about how I prioritize work over family. Well, now they can see exactly what that work provides. And if they apologize, then they better make it good. The elevator doors closed on the chaos I'd left behind. Because this time, sorry isn't going to pay their bills. The Thompson contract waited upstairs, ready to be finalized. Another multi-million-dollar deal that my family would never appreciate. Until now, when they desperately needed the money it represented. Funny how karma works sometimes. 3 days of silence turned into a week. Well, silence from my end. My family's desperate attempts at contact grew more creative by the day. Mother even tried sending a singing telegram to my office. You have to admit, that was a bold move, Kaya said over lunch. Though the singer looked pretty uncomfortable, delivering a guilt trip ballad in your lobby. Sandra recorded it. I picked at my salad. The board got a good laugh. Speaking of bold moves, she slid her phone across the table. Check your aunt's latest update. The photo showed Mother standing outside my childhood home, next to a "for sale" sign. The caption read, "Sometimes pride costs more than money." Subtle, I muttered. Franklin's been asking around about job openings at other firms. Kaya continued. Apparently, his partners aren't thrilled about the baby shower drama reaching their clients. My phone lit up, Herbert calling. Your mother's here in my office, he said, without preamble, with June. And? They want to discuss payment plans for the shower expenses. June's crying about credit score impacts. Not my problem. Cora. He lowered his voice. They're desperate. Your mother's talking about bankruptcy. Funny how money matters now. A text came through from Aunt Maeve. Aurora's selling her antique collection. The one she always said you weren't refined enough to inherit. Tell them I'm in meetings, I told Herbert. They've been here 3 hours. Then they can leave 3 hours wiser. I ended the call just as Sandra buzzed my office phone. Franklin's here again, says it's urgent. For the first time in a week, I hesitated. Send him in. Franklin looked different, tired, rumpled, less like the polished lawyer who'd watched silently during my humiliation. 2 minutes, I said before he could speak. June's a mess. He remained standing. Your mother's selling everything. Our credit is shot. I'm probably losing my partnership track. Sounds like consequences. Look, he ran a hand through his hair. I know we messed up. I should have spoken up at the shower. We all took you for granted. That's one way to put it. June's having panic attacks about the baby's nursery. We can't get approved for any new credit cards. Still not hearing a point. He pulled out his phone, showing me a photo of June, curled up on their couch, clearly distraught. She's your sister, Cora. Whatever happened? Whatever happened? I stood up. You mean when they publicly humiliated me? When they dismissed years of support? When they called me cold and calculating while happily spending my money? We were wrong. No, you were comfortable. Taking and taking while giving nothing but criticism in return. I walked to the window. How's that working out for you? The baby's due in 4 months. I'm aware. The crib I ordered arrived yesterday. I canceled the delivery. His phone buzzed. June calling. He ignored it. Your mother's house is in pre-foreclosure, he said quietly. She has options. She could sell her designer handbags, or her vacation timeshare, or maybe call all those real family people she loves to compare me to. Cora, please. Please what, Franklin? Bail them out? Write another check? Go back to being the family ATM they can criticize between withdrawals. Sandra buzzed again. Your mother and sister just arrived in the lobby. Tell security not to let them up. Franklin stepped closer. They're sorry. No, they're broke. There's a difference. Then what do you want? What will it take to fix this? I turned to face him fully. Fix what, exactly? The relationship they never valued? The support they took for granted? The success they resented? His phone buzzed again. Mother this time. You should go, I said. Sounds like they need you. They need you. No, they need my money. And for the first time they're realizing those aren't the same thing. He moved toward the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I always admired your drive, your success. June was jealous. Your mother was threatened. And now? Now they're just scared of losing more than money. After he left, I watched through my office window as he joined Mother and June in the parking lot. They huddled together, probably plotting their next attempt at reconciliation. My phone buzzed with a text from Aunt Maeve. They're breaking, dear. Question is, are you ready for what happens when they do? I didn't answer. Instead, I pulled up the Baby Boutique website, where June had registered. The silver rattle she'd dismissed sat in my cart, along with every other item on her wish list. One click would solve all their problems. I closed the browser. Some lessons cost more than money, and this one wasn't finished teaching yet. The knock on my apartment door came at 9 p.m., exactly 2 weeks after the baby shower. I knew who it was before I checked the peephole. June stood there alone, no makeup, wearing the ratty college sweatshirt she'd always refused to throw away. You look terrible, I said, opening the door. Can I come in? I stepped aside, noting how she cradled her baby bump protectively. She settled on my couch, looking small against the modern furniture she'd once called soulless. Mom doesn't know I'm here, she said quietly. Of course she does. She's probably waiting in the car. No, I mean it. June met my eyes. I took an Uber. Franklin's at a partner meeting, trying to save his job. I remained standing. What do you want, June? I found the receipts, her voice cracked. For the shower, all of them. Mom had thrown them away, but I needed to know. And $47,000. She wiped her eyes. Not counting the gifts you bought. The ones you spent months picking out. Is this the part where I'm supposed to feel appreciated? Because you finally looked at the price tag. No. She touched her stomach. This is the part where I tell you I'm scared. Really scared. We can't afford anything for the baby. My credit cards are maxed. Franklin's firm is putting him on probation. Mom's losing the house. Sounds rough. I deserve that. She pulled out her phone. But look at this. Really look. She showed me photos from the shower. Before everything fell apart, the details I'd obsessed over were evident in every shot. The custom lighting that made everyone look perfect. The hand-calligraphed place cards. The precisely arranged flowers. You did all this, she whispered, while closing the Thompson deal, while handling the merger, while I complained about you not being there for tastings. Your point? My point is, she struggled to stand, her pregnant belly making it awkward. I was jealous, always have been. You made everything look so easy. Your career, your success. Even throwing the perfect baby shower seemed effortless for you. It wasn't. I know that now. She walked to my window, staring at the city lights. Mom's a mess. She's lost everything, her status, her credit, her reputation. The country club actually revoked her membership. Tragic. She deserved it. June turned back to me. We all did. We treated you like a bank while acting like you weren't good enough for the family. The same family you've been supporting for years. My phone buzzed. Aunt Maeve. June finally made the move. How's it going? Why are you here? I asked June directly. Because I'm having a baby. Her hand rested on her bump. A little girl. And I don't want her growing up thinking it's okay to treat people the way we treated you. I don't want her learning that success should be punished, or that money matters more than honesty. Pretty words. I'm not asking for money. She stepped closer. I'm asking for a chance to be a better sister, a better aunt to my daughter. I'm asking if it's too late to start over. And mother, she'll have to figure out her own way back, if there is one. I studied her face, the dark circles under her eyes, the worry lines that hadn't been there before. The silver rattle, I said suddenly. What? The shower gift you dismissed. Do you know why I chose it? She shook her head. Grandma Margaret used it to soothe us both when we were babies. Remember how she'd tell us that story about how it was the only thing that would calm you down during thunderstorms? June's eyes filled with tears. I didn't even look at it properly. I was too busy trying to hurt you. Well, it worked. I'm so sorry, Cora. She reached for my hand. For everything. For years of everything. I let her hold my hand for a moment before pulling away. Sorry doesn't fix credit scores. I know, she moved toward the door, but maybe it's a start. As she reached for the handle, I spoke. The rattle's still in my closet. She turned, hope flickering across her face. I'm not saying I forgive you, I continued, but maybe we can talk about the baby, about starting over. Really, don't make me regret it. She nodded, tears falling freely now. Thank you. After she left, I texted Aunt Maeve. June just left. She came alone. And maybe there's hope for one bridge not to burn completely. What about Aurora? I looked at the family photo, still sitting on my shelf, taken years ago, when success meant nothing and family meant everything. Some bridges, I typed back, need to stay ashes. The silver rattle caught the morning light as my niece's tiny fingers wrapped around it. She had mother's eyes, but thankfully none of her temperament. She hasn't cried once since you gave it to her, June said from the hospital bed. The nurses can't believe it. Grandma Margaret was right. I adjusted the baby's blanket. Magic rattle. Franklin entered with coffee, looking more relaxed than he had in months. His firm had kept him on after he'd taken full responsibility for his part in the shower incident. Humility, apparently, went a long way. Your mother's in the lobby, he said quietly. Again, June tensed. Did you tell her? Security's keeping her there. He handed me a cup. Your call, Cora. My phone buzzed. Aunt Maeve. Aurora's making quite a scene downstairs. Something about grandmother's rights. Let her make it, I replied, watching my niece drift to sleep. The past 3 months had been a study in consequences. Mother had indeed lost her house, moving into a small apartment that horrified her social circle. June and Franklin had started marriage counseling, working through the damage that financial stress and family dysfunction had caused. And I had learned to set boundaries. The trust fund set up, I told June, putting my coffee down. But the conditions stand. She nodded. No contact with mother until she completes therapy. No access to the money without financial counseling first. And we maintain separate holidays. She smiled sadly. No more forced family gatherings. The baby stirred, making those tiny noises that newborns do. Franklin took a photo, then showed me his phone. Mother pacing in the lobby, gesturing wildly at hospital staff. She'll never change, June said softly. No, I agreed. But we did. My phone lit up with messages from the family group chat I'd never left. Cousin Rachel, Aurora's posting about being banned from meeting her granddaughter. Should we tell her that's not how restraining orders work? Uncle Paul. Maybe she should have thought about that before threatening Cora at her office. Aunt Maeve. The therapy appointments are paid for. She's choosing not to go. I muted the chat and focused on the baby. She had June's nose, Franklin's chin, and hopefully none of the family's talent for emotional manipulation. I've been thinking, June said, adjusting her position. About names. Please tell me you're not still considering Aurora Jr. No. She exchanged looks with Franklin. We were thinking, Margaret, after Grandma. The rattle clinked softly as the baby moved. She'd like that, I said finally. And June hesitated. We want you to be godmother. You sure? I might be too busy with my cold, calculating career. That's why we want you. Franklin sat on the bed's edge, Someone needs to teach her that success isn't a character flaw. A commotion outside drew our attention. Mother's voice carried through the door. I demand to see my granddaughter. Security responded quickly. Through the window, we watched them escort her out, her designer knockoff bag swinging wildly as she protested. You know what's sad? June cradled little Margaret closer. She could be here right now. All she had to do was get help. Some people prefer their pride to their peace. I picked up the rattle, its silver surface reflecting our small group. But that's not our problem anymore. My phone buzzed one last time. Herbert, Aurora's threatening to contest the restraining order again. Let her, I typed back. Some battles aren't worth winning when you've already won the war. June touched my arm. Thank you, not just for the trust fund or the baby stuff, for giving me a chance to be better. Us, Franklin corrected. A chance for us to be better. Little Margaret yawned, completely unaware of the family drama swirling around her. She'd grow up knowing a different kind of love, one that didn't come with price tags or conditions. Want to hold her again? June asked. I took my niece, feeling her warm weight settle against my chest. The rattle chimed softly as I rocked her. You know, I said, Grandma Margaret used to say something about family, that it's not about whose blood and who isn't. It's about who stays when the money's gone and the masks come off. Sounds wise, Franklin said. She was. I watched Margaret's eyes flutter closed, and she'd be proud of us, not for the success or the money, but for finally learning what real family means. Outside, Mother's car peeled away from the hospital parking lot, leaving only tire marks and wounded pride behind. But inside this room, with the silver rattle catching sunlight and new beginnings taking shape, we had everything we needed. Sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. And sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living well, loving better, and letting go.